With the current lack of demon hunts, Anaya had taken on all the more pursuits for herbs. She was increasingly concerned about encountering Samael, yet she had no choice but to go out, unless she wanted to tell someone about her previous run-ins with him. Sitting underneath an old oak, the crown broad and dense, she was once more collecting plant material. "Picking herbs again, are you?" The voice was all too familiar, dark and brooding. "Yes," she replied. "What this time?" Taking a glimpse at the demon, she found him perched in a maple tree. He had a foot planted along the branch, the other leg hanging over the edge. "What's it to you?" "Ouch! It stings when you do that, dear priestess," he said, gracefully descending the tree. "Surely I do not need a reason to speak with you, getting to know you." He smirked as he approached. "Yes, I can really see you being genuinely interested." Turning her attention back to the leaves, Anaya felt a sudden chill. Gooseflesh covered her arms as Samael leaned over her, his cloak draping her gown. "Peppermint, I see," he said. You are indeed of high intellect," she muttered. Coming to his full height, Samael sidestepped. "I sense some sarcasm here." "Proof of my previous statement, clearly." Pushing herself up, Anaya spun to look at him. With him being so close, his sheer size was daunting, the demon likely 7 feet tall. Her mouth dry, she gulped down a breath. "Look, I don't know what it is you want, or why you keep appearing. I followed you once to question you about it, but you got defensive and threatened me. The least you can do is explain yourself if you want any further conversation." "Explain myself, huh?" He slowly nodded, his slender eyebrows furrowing for a moment. "I suppose our last conversation intrigued me. I want to know more." "No more? What about? The priesthood? Or perhaps why I'm not interested in the male sex?" Samael instantly grinned. "Aha! Now you've come clean. See, I knew it." Anaya's face reddened, even more so than when they last spoke of the subject. "Fine. I'll admit it. You were right. Happy now?" Throwing his arms out, he shrugged. "I can die a happy man." "Not a man. Demon." Samael's features lost all signs of his previous smile. He was back to what Anaya now knew as normal, his voice emotionless, as he replied, "I suppose I shouldn't be surprised." Turning around, he walked back towards the maple tree. "Finally, you're leaving," she said, resuming her work on the peppermint plant. "Leaving?" she heard from behind her. "Who said anything about leaving?" "Nope, I'm just taking a seat." Samael sat down, leaning against the trunk, but retained his focus on the woman. "I will just observe you from here, considering you are such a killer of moods, among other things." "Other things? Like what? What have I ever done to you?" Throwing her tools aside, Anaya rose, then headed for him. Samael remained unmoving, only his gaze lifting as she gained on him. Pointing an accusatory finger at him, Anaya felt her cheeks burn. "As far as I know, you're the one who always follows me around. You don't see me visiting you, wherever you're from. I have never asked for your company, nor will I ever do so. All you do is taunt me for your own entertainment. Had it not been for our priesthood's strict rules against engaging demons who have not shown aggression, then I would have done so a long time ago." Standing directly in front of him, Anaya saw his arm whip out. He grabbed hold of her dress, pulling her down. She desperately clawed at the tree behind him to stop herself from crashing into him. "Listen, girl, I have told you over and over again, do not dare attack me. I will not, under any circumstances, hesitate to defend myself. And trust me, you do not want to go there." As he sounded out the words, Anaya could clearly see fangs in the demon's mouth. Was he getting agitated? Was this a show of genuine emotion coming from this cold-blooded being? Albeit aggression, it was the first she had ever seen from him. "Fine, now let go of me!" She still clung to the tree, her muscles beginning to cramp. Finding her dress released, she bounced back and toppled over, landing on her behind. Samael didn't even flinch as she fell to the ground, his face flat and emotionless. "Always these threats of yours, that's all you ever do. You have not a caring part in your soul, Samael." Drawing a knee up, he rested his arm upon it. "Well, at least you didn't refer to it as being part of my demon nature. Perhaps it is all personal nowadays." Anaya ignored the question. She merely got back on her feet, patting her dress to remove dirt and grass from it. "If you really want to get to know me, don't be such an arsehole about it." Her arms tight against her sides, she stared at him, waiting for him to reply or make a move. A silent minute passed, but it felt like a lifetime as she held his gaze, determined to receive an answer. "Get to know you?" he finally asked. "Why, yes. If you are to know more, surely it would be to your benefit to make my acquaintance." Samael contemplated the idea for a moment, rubbing the stubble on his chin. "I am intrigued by your suggestion. How would I go about making this acquaintance of yours, then?" "Stop threatening me, for one." Samael nodded. "Duly noted. Does that mean you will stop trying to burn me with your magic?" "Yes," she replied. Then her eyes tightened. "Even if it doesn't make a difference to you." "It does not. However, I believe it is the thought that counts." He offered her another one of his deceitful smiles. "You are very convincing," Anaya listlessly stated, then walked back to the patch of peppermint. "Perhaps you wish for me to introduce myself properly, then?" Receiving no answer, she looked across her shoulder, only to find the demon gone.